We've all been there before. You write that sales email or that social post for your business, you reread it, you think it sounds perfect, you're just waiting on that $1 million check to come in. You click launch to make it go live, and crickets. Nothing. You're confused, bewildered, flabbergasted even. Why didn't it work? I spent so much time and energy on this. Well, the fact of the matter is, you may not be talking to your customers in the right way. You need to talk to them in a way that keeps them engaged and guides them towards buying your product or service. That thing that you're so proud of that you want the world to know about, you need to talk to them properly if you're going to get them to act on it. That's where copywriting comes in. And if you're not familiar, I'm Jim Iorio, and over the next few minutes, we'll discuss what exactly copywriting is, how you can use it to grow your business, and I'll even familiarize you with 8 specific types of copywriting that you need to master if you're going to grow your business into the dream life you want it to be. Let's get started. So what exactly is copywriting? Well, the textbook definition is writing words intended to prompt a specific action in the reader. It could be purchasing a product, signing up for a newsletter, booking an appointment, or signing up for some sort of subscription service. Whenever a business is interacting with you, that's copywriting. You'll see it all over in your everyday life. It could be on a billboard, in a TV ad, on a website, an ad in your social media feed. Whatever it is, just know that it's done on purpose, and the reasons you buy from the brands that you do are not totally random. Now, granted, there are other things that come into play, like brands that support social justice initiatives that you support, brand loyalty if you continue to buy from the same brand all the time, and so on. But by and large, if you made a purchase or signed up for something, chances are it was the copywriting that brought you there. So what I like to do is go over some basic copywriting rules first and foremost. We'll get into the specifics in a minute, but some basic copywriting rules that can make your copy perform the same way as the big brands. Rule number 1 is write as if you're talking to a friend. So just like you and I are talking right now, that's the same kind of tone you want to use when you address your audience or your customers. Keep it conversational, keep it friendly, and the best rule of thumb I can teach you is everything you were taught in elementary and middle school English class, throw it out the window. There obviously is exceptions, but the more informal you could be, the better. Rule number 2, use engaging language that makes your customers feel something. There are specific trigger words, sometimes called power words, within the copywriting industry that experts know drive people to act. It's like when I used to work in health insurance, there was a saying, emotion makes the sale and logic pays the premium. Well, you need the right words to drive that emotion. And like I said, if you stick around, the free gift that I have in store for you guys will help you do just that. Rule number 3 for general copywriting principles is cut out the fluff. If you write a statement on the screen and you go to look back at it and it just seems clunky and awkward and there's extra words in there, and back to rule number 1, it's written in a formal, stuffy type of tone like you wouldn't say in person, cut out the extra words. The goal in copywriting is to be as direct as possible. I mean, like we said earlier in the video, a lot of these messages you find on billboards. There's not a lot of real estate there. They have to make those letters and numbers huge for you to see them as you're driving. So it's best for them to be direct as possible, and the same goes for you too. So just to recap, rule number 1, write as if you're talking to a friend. Number 2, use engaging language. Stick around for the free gift to help with that. And rule number 3, cut out the fluff. reread it, make it direct as possible. So those are our basic copywriting rules. You can apply those to whatever platform you're writing a message on that you want to engage your customers with. Now, let's move into the specific types of copywriting for your business. All of these at some point will probably be their own video on this channel, but this is just a high level overview of what copywriting is and these 8 types that you need to know as a business owner. So number 1, we have email marketing. Now, it's easy when you hear that term to think that it means one email, but effective copywriting email marketing sequences that are done by a professional, they can be tens or 20s of emails. Like, I mean, you're engaging a customer throughout their customer journey and their lifetime with you as a brand. So it's not just a one and done thing. The goal is to stay on your customer's mind and ultimately convert them to some sort of sale or action, like we mentioned earlier. They can be shorter form emails or they can be longer sales copy. There's effective examples of both. A great resource is swiped.co, has a whole bank of ads and emails that have been used by some of the greatest copywriters and email marketers in history. And you'll see both types there. You'll see short ones and you'll see long ones. So really no specific format, but you just want to use persuasive language and try to ultimately get your customers to act. And here are a few tips for doing that with email marketing. So subject lines are your friend. Use interesting subject lines to catch attention, but a caveat here is that you shouldn't be pulling the old switcheroo or bait and switch. So if you say something in your subject line, make sure you deliver on it in the body of the email. The second tip for emails is use strategic calls to action. Place a call to action like download this link or click here to subscribe early in your email and at the end. If you're new to digital marketing in general, there's an area of a website called Above the Fold, and it's everything you see as a page loads. So before you even touch the mouse and scroll one bit and you're looking at a web page, that's the above the fold area. So you want to put a call to action above the fold, and then you also want to put one down towards the end of your email. Another important thing is don't purchase email lists. Depending on who you get them from, it can be illegal. You always should be asking permission to contact your customers before you contact them. You have to ask them for what's known as an opt-in in order to be able to legally contact them. And if they decide to opt out, then you're out of luck. You can't email them anymore. If you continue to contact them after they've selected opt out or selected unsubscribe, you could get yourself in serious trouble. So please, guys, play by the rules if you're doing email marketing. Now we're on to our second type of business copy, web copy. So this is web pages, landing pages, sales pages, and again, the copy that's here is not random. I mean, a study by the Missouri University of Science and Technology said users spend 5 seconds reading a site's copy before moving on to the next section. So you basically have 5 seconds to capture your customer's attention. Why wouldn't you use professional language and phrasing in that time? You have to at least stand a fighting chance. The third type of copy is B2B copywriting. B2B stands for business to business. So any business selling products or service to other businesses, they fall into this category. But just because you're selling to another business and not a person sitting in front of their computer, well, all businesses are people at the core anyway. So, but you get what I'm saying. Just because you're selling to another company or corporate entity doesn't mean you still don't need to be engaging or persuasive. You need to use engaging language and focus on the problems that that business is facing. This brings us nicely into our next type of copy, B2C copywriting, or business to customer copywriting. So as opposed to businesses that sell to other businesses, these are businesses that sell direct to consumer, like retail, cosmetics, things like that. But although it's to a single person rather than a company, the same copywriting principles still apply. So you still need to be engaging, you still need to persuade, you still need to use emotive language when you can, and be as direct as possible. Our next type of copywriting is direct response copywriting. The goal here and what your aim is to get your customers to take quick action. So you're writing them with the intention of having them act as soon as they're done reading. The tip here is to focus on urgency. Use words like now, today, while supplies last is a good one. Tell readers there's a limit on your offer or a limited supply, a time limit or a limited supply. The next type of copywriting is ad copywriting. This is generally short and punchy in format. It's designed to resonate with your audience quickly. Going back to a previous example, this is where our billboards would fall in, print ads sometimes. If you write for companies maybe in the technology sector, though, these may not be print. They might actually be digital. They might pop up on social media. They may be ran on podcasts, etc. These ads generally limit the word count, so this goes back to one of our general principles of being as direct as possible and cutting out whatever fluff you can. You need to make use of every word that you get when it comes to ad copywriting. The next type of copywriting is social media copywriting. This requires a more personal touch since you're speaking to individual users and you're speaking to them in a less formal setting since you're contacting them on their social media feed. So it definitely requires you to be engaging because number one, they don't want to deal with any business type of stuff. They're scrolling that feed probably on their lunch break and their recreation time. So anything that looks like an ad, smells like an ad, feels like an ad is getting skipped. So you need to be way more engaging, way more friendly. And the goal here is to get them to stop scrolling, to pay attention to you, no matter what platform you're on. One of the keys to do that is to use emojis. A study by Zazzle says posts with emojis get 57% more likes, 33% more shares, and 33% more comments. And likes, shares, and comments are the three key social signals of any social media platform. So those will start to, once your engagement boosts among those three signals, more people will start to see your message because the algorithm will show it to them, and you'll start to see more leads and customers rolling in. The one caveat here and the one important reminder is to adapt your format and your copy to each platform. So what works on Instagram might not work on Facebook. What works on Facebook probably isn't going to work on TikTok or Twitter. So keep in mind of the way people like to be spoken to or the way other accounts are speaking to people on each individual platform. A good way to do it, you don't really need to dig too deep, is just look for celebrities or brands that you like to interact with on each of these platforms. See how they're talking to you. See what gets your attention. I mean, we all like to think we're so different, which I'm sure we are, but if something's working for you and getting your attention, chances are it'll work for your own audience. So keep that in mind. We'll do another video on that in the future, but I think those are just some good tips to get you started. Our next general form of copywriting is product copywriting. So this is for product descriptions, as the name implies. E-commerce stores like Amazon, Shopify, that's where you'll find this type of copywriting. It needs to be engaging and it needs to tell readers why they need your product. The biggest mistake most business owners make is they list features. So you have to put your sales hat on. One of the oldest sales tips in the book is feature benefit. Describe a feature that your product has and then go into how that feature benefits the customer. What does it do for them? How does it improve their life? How will their life be better based on that one feature that your product has? These are the questions you need to keep in mind when you're writing copy for your product descriptions. I mean, like it or not, people are more concerned with how you can help them first and foremost. Simon Sinek, one of the current thought leaders on psychology and just the human condition, really, is quoted as saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So nobody's going to buy from you until you can connect with them or connect your product with them and how it can improve their life. So to recap, I know it was a lot. I know it was a lot of info to cover, but I think this is a really solid foundation for you to get started writing copy and improving the results of your messaging and your copy in your business. So a quick rundown of the 8 types of copywriting we went over. We talked about email marketing. We talked about B2B or business to business. We talked about B2C or business to consumer. We talked about direct response. We talked about ad copywriting. We talked about social media copywriting. We talked about product copywriting. They all have their own individual quirks and their own formatting rules, but they all follow the basic copywriting rules we went over at the top of the video. Write like you're talking to a friend, use engaging emotional language, write with your customers in mind. As promised, comment below to receive your copy of what I call my free Power Words cheat sheet. It has the top 25 power words, in my opinion, to take your copy from snoring to scoring and hit home with your customers. So hope you liked the video. Hit like and subscribe. And if you could, let me know in the comments also what you'd like to see in future videos. Appreciate you stopping by. Jim out. Have a great day.